Hello, welcome to Casburgers. I'm your host, Eli Halpern. Are you an alcoholic piece of shit? Fear not, I was once like you. I'm going to break down some of the tips and tricks that I used to go sober, and hopefully you guys can take this and adapt it to your own life and make yourself better as well. Now, I'm fully sober. Some people just want to quit drinking. Either way, less drugs is probably better in the long run. I know that's not what I've been saying for the last 10 years, but I've changed, okay? I'm different now, you motherfuckers. So, first of all, you got to realize that the reason that you do drugs in the first place is to socialize. Like, that's what alcohol is all about. I know each drug has a little bit of a different reasoning, but that's the bane of it is the connectivity to other people. And the addiction is the substance abuse is more of a symptom of the addiction than the root of it. And the root of it is you want to talk to people, but you can't because you're afraid of everything, because reality's scary and it feels like everyone is a foreign alien that has a dick and a gun. But you have to realize why you're doing it in the first place. And then you have to think about what you want, what your goal is. You want to just be sober and be able to hang out with people? That was my thing, because it got to a point where I was like, man, that's pretty gay that I can't just be sober and talk to people. Like, I don't have the balls to just raw dog reality. So that was my main motivator. Now I'm able to be around people, and I need to adjust this lighting. Yeah. Now I'm able to be around people and be happy about it because I fill out a checklist every day. And instead of having that artificial sense of confidence that's just making my brain feel happy, I do a bunch of things to make myself proud of myself every day, which makes me happy, so that the liquid courage is replaced by a genuine courage or confidence. And it takes way more fucking work. So if you don't have that much time, maybe sobriety isn't for you. If you're working a 9 to 5, it's going to be hard to be sober. And I don't know, man. Maybe not. I'm just going to say what works for me, and you can take what you want out of it. So you got to start with the basics. It all starts with your health. It all starts with your body. You got to sleep well. You got to drink a lot of water. Like, more than you think. And then also eat salt, and because salt and potassium are electrolytes, which help the water distribute into your tissues. So you could just be drinking. There is a way to drink the wrong kind of water, or just have water in you and not be as hydrated as you could be. So being hydrated, eating the right foods, and I don't like that I just said that, because then I'm making you decide what's the right foods is. I like to simplify it. Meat, vegetables, fruits, nothing processed, only drink water, and Olipop. They're not paying me to say that. I just really like them. But actually, they did pay me $18 for this reel I posted on Instagram. So I guess I'm just a fucking corporate shill. God, it's so weird to be podcasting by myself and then run out of things to say, and then I'm just like, oh, dead air. And then you're probably listening like, did my phone just cut out? It's not that easy to just keep talking nonstop, unless you're completely insane, which I am. So once you get your intake requirements out of the way, then you gotta focus on exercise. So I wake up every day like, fuck this shit. Everything's stupid. And my default state is just negative. So I got to get up and I got to train for like a few hours. And then I sauna and then I ice bath. I don't know if you have to do all that, but I'm excessive with everything. All right. I had to go sober because I was doing like 4 grams of mushrooms a day for like 2 years. So I'm excessive about stuff. And then I've always said you need 3 pillars in your life: something to keep you making extra money, something to keep you physically active, and something to keep you creative. So the physical activity should be first, first thing in the morning, or first thing when you wake up. And with those 3 pillars should have like an overarching theme of community too. Because if you're just pursuing each of these ventures solo, then you'll be alone all the time, and that's not that cool. Unless you're into that. I don't know. I kind of think that when people say that dude, I'm shaking this camera a lot. I kind of think when people say that they enjoy being alone, that they're lying, and just people don't like them, so they just justified it and been like, well, I didn't want to hang out with people anyways. I don't really believe anyone enjoys being alone. But having a community is extremely important. And if you're able to exercise, then after that your mind will be thinking from a better place. Because like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, fuck this shit. I train and sauna, ice bath, shower, get dressed, and I'm like, all right, here we go. The day has started. And then get some sunlight, meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, eat a pound of beef, and I don't know. I'll work on my company. I'll do things online, like I'll handle emails and do marketing stuff or podcasts, and try to figure out how to make $10 million. And then I'll go do stand-up comedy, or I'll make music, and then I'll go hang out with people. So by the time I hang out with people where everyone else is drinking, I have already accomplished so much that day that I'm very proud of myself and I'm happy with who I am, to where I don't need to consume anything. Because I'm just like, yeah, I fucking killed it today. And I keep killing it every day. And when that time comes in the middle of the day where I'm like, I just finished something and I got some free time, when I used to light up a joint or something and get high and like stare at a wall and giggle. I don't think I actually did that specifically, but you could. You could. That's why weed is awesome, because you could just be happy doing nothing. But that's also why it's terrible, because you shouldn't be happy doing nothing if you want better for yourself. You should honestly be miserable if you're not at where you are in life. And you're not going to change where you are if you're happy about it. So you're really just fooling yourself. Because the first couple weeks of sobriety, I was pretty miserable. And that's what pushed me to stack, like that packed day I just discussed. It came from trying to fix that, from coming from that miserable place. And I wouldn't have been as productive without that. So that's the benefit of feeling like shit. That negativity is there as a motivator for positive action. It also makes it way easier to be sober if you're in really good shape. Because if you look in the mirror and you're like, nice, then, I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. This is going to sound bad, but fuck you. I work hard on this. It's hard for me to be in a bad mood if I'm in front of a mirror. I'm looking at myself recording right now, and I'm like, I wish my shirt was off. But you should feel like that too. You shouldn't. It's become negative for people to love themselves to an extent. Like most people, you hear someone speak highly of themselves and they're like, oh, how arrogant. But if that is arrogant, then I think we should all be arrogant. If we're all arrogant, then there is no arrogant. That's just the default state. I think the default state should be, I'm fucking awesome. Why would you not want to think you're fucking awesome? Unless you aren't fucking awesome, in which case you should be miserable and sober so that you are motivated to become awesome. It also really helps that I know fucking everyone when I go out. Like, I thought that I didn't have anxiety anymore because I used to have kind of social anxiety. I would just be like, I don't know when my turn to talk is, and I thought that was gone. But when I went to Thailand and I was meeting all these people and I was out with all these strangers, I was like, oh, that social anxiety is still there. I'm just around people I know all the time. So go out with people you know. You don't have to do everything uncomfortable all at once. You can be out of your comfort zone by being sober while still be in your comfort zone by being comfortable around people. Because you shouldn't the getting out of your comfort zone shouldn't apply to people. Like, you shouldn't feel obligated to be around people that make you uncomfortable. It's more of situations that make you uncomfortable. You should put yourself in, like, fucking skydiving or whatever, or trying new skills or activities. That's what I mean when I say put yourself out of your comfort zone. So I don't advise that you ever be around people that make you uncomfortable. But it is beneficial if you're like, I'm going to go to this event where it's going to suck and then just try to get along with people, and you get, like, reps. Because it's all about reps. Because you've had plenty of reps having conversations with people while you're drinking, and the conversation just flows naturally. You're not really thinking about what you're saying. You're just kind of in the motion. But as soon as you remove the intoxicant, the socialization aspect and the conversation aspect gets a little weird. Something I've noticed is when people talk to me when they're drunk, they can't tell that I'm not that interested in what they have to say, and they just keep talking. And then after a while, I just get comfortable with them being comfortable talking to me, and it's fine. So if you just bring that to sobriety, just like if someone's just like, oh, yeah, just keep powering through that and be kind of annoying, that's a good conversational rep. Because you need to stack up. Your problem is you've had all these reps socializing under the influence. And the solution to that is having positive social interactions sober. And the only way to get there is by trying and failing and having a bunch of awkward social interactions. And that for like the first 3 to 6 months when I quit drinking, that was... I couldn't stay somewhere for longer than like 15 minutes. I don't know what exactly was going on in my head. I just heard, I got to get the fuck out of here. It was chaotic. And now I'm just, usually when I have to get the fuck out of somewhere, it's just because I'm tired, because I had such an exhausting day trying to stay out of my own head and just trying to stay in action. I should have made a checklist, like, written down before I did this. I'm just going off the top of the head right now. Exercise, food, water, passion. You gotta do stuff you're passionate about. That's all I gotta say about that. So, the way also that I quit drinking alcohol was magic mushrooms. So I would take mushrooms every day, like a lot, like like for 2 years. And people say, like, oh, weed and mushrooms are fine. Well, not the way I was doing it. I was doing them a lot, more than anyone I've ever met. So It wasn't like causing problems in my life. It just got to the point where I was like, damn, I'm doing way too much and way more than anyone I've ever met. So I gotta cut this off. It's also a fucking power move to be like, I don't need anything to be happy. I just am good enough how I am. I never thought that I'd be able to say that. And there's still a sense of like imposter syndrome. It's only been like 60 days, but like genuinely, I feel fucking great. And sometimes I want to smoke weed just because I don't want to work. And then I'm like, oh, that means I should do work. Also, sleeping is hard as fuck without weed. I used to sleep great. I would sleep like 10 hours on an edible. And now I'm like, maybe like 5 to 7. Because being high as shit and going to sleep, you just knock out. But there may be a time where I'm like, man, my sleep is so bad, it's worth doing edibles again. But right now, I'm slamming Benadryl. And Benadryl doesn't make me feel good. In fact, I don't even really notice anything from it. I try to go to sleep before it kicks in. My policy with drugs is I don't take anything that will make me happy. I don't well, food makes me happy. Not sugar, though. Sugar makes me too happy. You guys know what I mean, right? I don't ingest anything that will change my brain to be like, things are great or eliminate negativity. I have to do that on my own. It's God damn it. It's more about what you shouldn't do than what you should do. Like, you shouldn't add things to do differently. You should negate things to do differently. You should remove things. Like cutting back on drugs and sugar and Netflix and scrolling. I don't do anything where I consume entertainment. I don't do anything for entertainment. Unless I'm watching people I know do comedy or music, or like my only source of entertainment is, or my only source of consuming content is watching other people's podcasts on business and philosophy and like positive stuff that I can use in my life to implement shit. Or I guess the only thing I do that is for entertainment, it's still educational, is like stuff about the pyramids being giant batteries. But I'm never watching movies or playing video games or watching TV shows. Closest I come is I listen to music. But I think that's listening to music is like I listen to like funk music that sounds like it's an Ocean's 11 and I just drive around like I'm in a casino spy heist, just feeling like James Bond. It makes me feel like I'm living in a movie. But for the most part, I'm just creating stuff as opposed to consuming it. Like I'm making music, making comedy, making these podcasts, making clips, whatever. I'm just trying to be the content that I want to consume. And I think that mindset has a lot to help with sobriety. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be sober. There's people who can have like a few drinks and not go overboard. But also, you shouldn't need the few drinks. And the people who have the few drinks say that they don't need the few drinks. I don't know. I could go back and forth on this. But there's a part of me that thinks you should just be completely sober if you've been getting intoxicated for a while. But that's also the part of me that's like kind of jealous because like I wish I could be drinking and partying every night. But also I don't. I don't know, man. It's weird. I think I had to do drugs to get to the point where I realized I didn't need them. if that makes sense. Because the mushrooms help change my mind about a lot of things and like rewire my brain. And to now, when I'm out, I can just, if other people are on something, I can like snap into their mindset and like feel like I'm kind of tripping too. Because you have all that in you, all the times that you've been high, you have you've like collected some mentality from that. That's still saved in your memory files. So you can kind of just go back and like open it up, and like you don't need a drug to be as an excuse to be a weirdo. You can just be weird, which that was my favorite thing about drugs. I could just use it as an excuse. I could just be like, "Oh, I'm not this crazy. I'm just on a bunch of drugs right now." Turns out I'm actually just crazy. I knew that the whole time, but I didn't want to admit it. And now it's like, whatever, dude. I'm a fucking video game character. We're all going to die soon. And then be reincarnated. And then I'll be someone else. And I'll live forever. But, you know. Also, if you're able to control your dreams, if you start lucid dreaming, that'll affect your reality. You should look into that. I have like a parallel life in my dreams. Every time I go to sleep, I'm in this this like tropical realm, and all kinds of crazy shit's going on. And it kind of like when I go to sleep, it like picks off where I left off, and yeah, I think it makes me better able to control reality. And controlling reality made me better at controlling my dreams, because the more I trained in martial arts, the better I am at fighting in my dreams. So it's kind of like you can treat them both as like a life. Except I've definitely had dreams before where I'll be like, "Oh, I'm in a dream," and then I'll go break a bunch of shit. And I don't know why that's my go-to if there's no consequences. But I'll just start destroying everything and pissing people off, and they'll get mad at me, and I'm like, "Fuck you, you don't exist. We're in my head." and then I'll realize it's not a dream, and I had just destroyed this entire city and pissed off all these people, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" But then I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, that's good." So I'm glad that hasn't happened in real life. I I haven't come close to anything like that in real life. The dreams are the tricky side. Sometimes I'm like, maybe dreams are real and you're actually going to another realm. But I don't know. I don't have a good philosophy on what dreams actually are. And as far as like going sober just from alcohol, it's way too easy to be like, I'm going to quit drinking, and then you end up replacing it with another drug, which I did, and I would do a bunch of other drugs, and then I'd be like, is this even better than drinking? And it depends how you slice it or what drugs you're doing, but you could be doing like 5 drugs that are technically healthier than alcohol, but are just flipping your minds in directions that are not conducive to your personal growth. And in that case, might as well just be having a few drinks. So that's why I think going sober completely is the best method. And you can start as a break. You don't have to make a decision that you're going to go sober forever. Because I started with, I think I just wanted to go 30 days, and I went 27. And it was terrible. But I was in a different mindset back then. But, yeah, just see. You should really see how you operate being sober for an extended period of time, having taken the steps, like being physically healthy and all that, to see how your mind can think at like peak performance without any substances, and then see what you want to do after that. But also, if you've never done drugs, you should probably try them. I can't say. I don't know. I don't. I've tried to imagine a world where I never did drugs, and I'm. I think I would have ended up like a more autistic billionaire. I think I would have ended up like a Mark Zuckerberg type. So I'm not saying you should quit. I'm not saying you should go sober to everyone. I'm saying if you think you want to go sober, then you should go sober. If you're watching this, you're probably thinking about going sober. So fucking do it. Just wake up. Don't even start tomorrow. Just even if you're already kind of high today, just don't do any more today because that'll just set you up a little bit better to prepare for not doing it tomorrow, even if it's like 5%. But I don't know. I hope this helped. I'm going to go exercise because I hate everything.